Hey guys, welcome to another session of RBTL. We're going to go through the Epic 7 update preview for the second half of 2022. This was released in multiple videos, so you can check this out on the Epic 7 Global YouTube channel for sure if you want to see like the, you know, point by point videos. It's done in this kind of cute chibi animation. In my opinion, it's probably easier to just read the notes unless you actually understand the Korean language. I'm gonna go through not the entire thing because as I do content stuff, I technically have obviously a bias towards what I'm interested in and what I think is the highlight. The other big reason is that, you know, even though this segment is always called reading between the lines, I dislike reading. So that's why we're gonna talk about the stuff that I really care about, right? The stuff that I actually read. Either way, we got a lot of stuff coming up, and if this is covering all of 2022, then really all this stuff is coming in the next 3 months, right? Which means hopefully in the new year, in 2023, we got some like really good stuff, because what I don't see here is really content in terms of promising content that will carry us for another year. But I'm not gonna panic yet. Like I said, this is just the kind of the end of the quarter kind of update. So gameplay improvements, let's talk about this. So background battling function. So this was explained in the video especially, so I definitely recommend checking this out. Again, it's on their official YouTube channel. And I was really worried about like, oh, how does this work, right? So I think too long didn't read. Honestly, it's really about you're able to is this what it's talking about right now? Background battling function. Yeah, okay. You're able to run, let's say, a hunt, and it's autoable. All the same pet settings, so like you can refresh Skystone, 30 runs, I believe it's still limited to. Refresh Leaf, refresh Skystone, you can set the amount of runs you want to run, but it could run in the background where you can manual your raid, you can manual your labyrinth, you could even do RTA. So this is what I know, you can do RTA. Or you can just sit in the lobby and let it run, and it will function sort of like an idle game. Of course, it has its own limits, but in my opinion, it's very, very nice, especially for a player like me. So I usually, from a day to day, if I'm playing Epic 7, because, you know, I work on the computer all day, that's actually my job. And so, like, you know, sometimes I'm in a hunt, and then maybe there's a discussion on Discord, a guildie would be like, hey, let's flex, you know, whatever, like Apocalypse Ravi builds or Specteni builds, and then, you know, everybody's like, you know, pulling up their screenshots and stuff like that. But if you're hunting, it's sometimes kind of annoying to be like, okay, let's stop the hunt, you know, go take the screenshot and then go back to the hunt again. You kind of lose a bit of momentum, you lose a couple minutes there. I mean, if you're free to play and you don't have any Leaf or Skystone to be refreshing, I guess it doesn't matter. But I suppose like it's just more of a convenience kind of thing, right? Just in case there's a hunt buff, you can actually still manage other stuff. You can do expos, to my knowledge. The only thing you're limited from doing is to be able to actually do two things simultaneously while autoing. So you can't auto Wyvern and auto your altar at the same time or something like that. But if we're talking about in the case of doing a hunt buff or something like that, where it's like all buffs, like you got your altar buff, you got your hunt buff or AP buff, it'd be really good to just be able to, like, you know, auto one thing and then manual another. Now the other thing would be like, oh, well, do you actually have that much Leaf? So that's what I mean. It's like I don't believe it's super sustainable for someone to be hunting two things at the same time, unless it's for like a hunt buff and you're really like trying to, you know, min-max you have like maybe 500 Leaf or something like that. You're trying to min-max getting the most stuff. Outside of that, it would just literally be like, oh, you run your, you know, your free energy and hunts, and then you could play some RTA, or you run your free energy and hunts, and then, like I said, my example would be I don't have to stop hunting in order to, like, you know, go through my heroes and take screenshots and, you know, flex, right? So growth support for new and returning areas. Let me skip down here a bit. So this one's a pretty big one. This Grace of Growth, formerly known as Grace of Unity. I believe when they released this information before, they said like up to 3 heroes you could do this, but now they're kind of reducing it to 1. Now if that's a technical restraint, I'm not quite sure about that anymore. I will talk about tech restraints in a bit when we get to it, if I remember. because they definitely say stuff and then do something else. So I mean, their reputation generally is most of the time good, and maybe it is for our own good. But in my opinion, yeah, sure. Like generally, they're releasing a new hero once a week. At the most, you have like an ML5 with a new RGB kind of overlapped at the same time. So you know, being able to do the stage 4 version to get a basically what this is, it's kind of like a trial version. Okay, you can have a hero that you want once you have the stage 4 thing, so your unlock condition, your character will be plus 12 mola, but as it says here, if a registered hero has a maximum of 15 enhanced skill, it would be naturally plus 15. So I don't know what that even means, to be honest, but it's just basically saying that the character that you're putting into this grace of growth will be level 60, 6-star awakened, just like you would as a fully loaded character into like endgame PvP. Alright, so the only thing you need to put on is really your gear. So the skill enhancement should at least be will be plus 15. This would be really good, of course, for players who are trying out, even if you're not a streamer, you're not a content creator, not a YouTuber or anything like that. It's just really good for players to try out, right? Then at least you have like, okay, you pulled the character, but it's like, do I want to actually invest a mola in? You can actually do your own experiments, and then or the content creators that you watch, that you usually would, you know, take the information and, you know, make a decision on whether or not you want to build your Senya or your Alencia or whatnot. Like then at least they have the resources to do it and never have to feel like, oh, I don't have the resources right now, I can't do it right now, or I feel that this is a risky investment, and then therefore they don't do it, right? So this opens up a lot of possibilities in general. I think this is very good. It starts with one character or one hero that you could do this. Hopefully they can expand it in the future, but I definitely don't expect it to go beyond 3, their original design. The design that they proposed last year. I don't expect it to go beyond 3 because that would be a bit broken, right? Like having literally 3 heroes at any point that could be literally the meta, like meta heroes at the season, but you don't have to invest anything in it, right? You can keep it in there as long as you want, but if you withdraw a registered hero, you won't be able to register another hero for 3 days, and that makes sense. And like I said, so like I feel like this is usable mainly to try out a new character. You basically would run them for 2 weeks before another new character comes out or potential new character comes out, and then by then hopefully you have your answer. Do I want to actually invest in this hero or do I not want to? Either way, it's better than nothing. I'll take it. Let's see here. Some new stuff especially for onboarding newer players and also returning players. Now this doesn't really affect me as much, so I'm not going to be really talking about it. All I can say is that they found that there was a problem with what was it called? It was the Hunt Expert event that we had like introduced like last year, where like if you did all these hunts and stuff, you get free heroes out of it and a ton of rewards. But they started realizing it's like, oh well, you know, how can the how can the new players get to even finish the Hunt Expert challenge if they can't, like, you know, finish episode 1? So basically this is more or less saying that, you know, what do you get as a new player or returning player to ease your way into the game? Now we know the reason why. Like this is important at Smilegate because especially with the E7WC that just ended, with a $100,000 prize pool, they're really trying to make the game like big time, right? The tournament stream this year has gone, you know, like 100%. Quality wise, definitely way up there. I mean, the only thing they can't maintain would be like the webcams that the players are using. Like, you know, the quality there is a bit off. Very little mistakes in terms of the broadcast side. I do believe that Smilegate actually hired a studio who actually do, like, you know, digital like broadcasting. They have their whole AR studio, AR setups, editors, directors, and all that stuff like on the scene. So I do feel that Smilegate is doing the right thing. Now with all that said, what I mean is they're really trying to get players to go all the way in so that they can play RTA, right? So again, RTA is the end game. I've heard people comment saying that, well, no, RTA or PvP is not the end game. It is. If you deny that, you don't understand the design philosophy of Smilegate or Epic 7. It is definitely that to be the case. Now, whether or not you do RTA, that is a player difference. That's a player decision. But from a developer standpoint, it's definitely RTA. So everything that they're doing year on year to make it easier for newer players and all that stuff. It's one, to get the newer players to catch up, obviously, to the end game. It is quite a long journey now, like way longer, right? As each day or each year goes on, the journey from starting a brand new account is way longer. So of course they need to incentivize that. Now, obviously, some players don't necessarily go from a new account, but I won't talk about that. Most people know what I'm talking about. Either way, that's pretty much it. I mean, we as veteran players get a bit of that stuff as well, but it's not like super big deal for us. Again, we're at endgame, so those things are just slight benefits, whereas a new player or starting a new account or maybe a returning player, the buffs and all the incentives and rewards that they get from this this event will definitely help them catch up a bit, right? Some UI changes as well. The Moonlight Blessing will now not be shoved in that corner on the right side of the menu. Will be actually put into the connection specialty change, and I think that's the right way to do it. In the future, if they ever have any more Moonlight Blessings, because again, as the game progresses, the necessity of having the ML5s early on, again, if they're trying to push newer players to get into competitive world arena, then you are gonna have 2 Moonlight Blessings. Like each player is gonna be able to get 2 right off the bat, and the pool is gonna expand. These are things that you can expect because these are just natural ways that the game has to grow. Otherwise, it's just not sustainable. It's a new content update. Let's see here. This is Moonlight Theater stories. Yeah, there's something about the Moonlight Hero stories about the theater tickets. I mean, watch this video for the in-depth, but again, too long didn't watch, too long didn't read. It's basically something like each week or something, a new story is opened, and I think you actually have to own the ML5s to open that story, which, if that's the case, I do believe that is oh, let's see, first episode will be available free, and the next episode will be open after a week. Oh yeah, that's it. You could basically buy with gold, which is really expensive, to, I think, to watch the next episode immediately. So instead of time gating yourself, it's like 500,000 gold to watch it. You acquire 50 mystic medals every time you watch it, but like 500,000 gold, I think I'm gonna wait for the weeks. For one mystic pull, I'm gonna wait. But that's pretty much it. And then the Moonlight Theater, I've enjoyed it the first time. I'm definitely glad that it is coming back. It is one of the most interesting side stories I read. Very quirky. A lot of interesting character development, and of course introductions to some of the new MLs that will be coming. So I definitely looking forward to that. 3 team arena battles to be updated the 4th quarter. Now they do say that they apologize for the delay, and then I have noticed that we were missing this, like where was this? But I know that they're pretty ambitious, and at the end of the day, if they deliver, it's great. Ancient Inheritance ended up to being a pretty decent mode in terms of a guild mode, and the rewards are really nice if you roll well your gear. The rewards are good. So the game mode, in my opinion, while I don't personally enjoy it, a lot of people do enjoy it as a content that comes around once in a while, and I can definitely appreciate that. So in Ancient Inheritance, we had waited for like, I think, an additional year. Now 3 team arena battles though, I'm not quite sure if this is gonna be as poppin', but in my opinion, however this system works, as long as the rewards are good, it's gonna be a good mode. So basically anything that Epic 7 starts introducing, they gotta start like balancing effort versus reward. So if something, it takes too much effort, the reward better be really good. If it takes very little effort, sure, the reward wouldn't be as good, but then the player might not have any incentive at all to play said mode. I know that there's actually a handful of people I know personally that don't even do the arena because it's like, oh, it's dead mode. And the very reason they only do Guild War, even though they don't like Guild War anymore, is for the mystic medals, and then of course, like, guildy camaraderie, right, I guess. But like, what's the incentive for this? I'm not quite sure. Back when they had introduced this, I had a comment on that. I'm like, not sure if this is what we need, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, as long as there's a reward system, what do you call it? Yeah, reward tree or whatever you want to call it. As long as there's a shop for it, you will see people play it. And of course, anything in this game competitive, there will be players or a group of players like-minded will find like fun in that sort of PvP content, so that's fine. We're also getting replay options, especially in World Arena. Now this would be great as well, because this means that like any kind of game that popped off, content creators again will be able to make really good content, whether it's really funny, like RNG compilations, like RNG win compilations, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna have a lot more of that, so this is incentivizing for also the players as well. Using footage like this recorded within the game itself and then later on to record onto a YouTube video or something like that could be useful for education purposes. Players who don't even do content but want to show their, like you see a share button there, so want to share that replay with others. Now I don't know what the extent is in terms of the share, like is it sharing in game, is it sharing to guild mates only, can you send it to a specific in-game player, or is it shared to social network? Those things are questions that I have right now. I don't believe that they said anything about that, but either way, I just feel that this will further allow World Arena, again the end game of Epic 7, to be more visible or more what do you call it, accessible for players who are not there yet, right? Either they have that kind of the carrot on the stick that they see that they want to pursue, and again with all the changes, with the ease of getting heroes, ease of getting the hunt heroes, we're definitely going to see, I mean all of this is eventually trying to get more players in, and then the more players in, there's going to be a percentage that will be whales, and then of course that makes Smilegate money, and you know, so on and so forth. That's the typical thing about game design. Labyrinth revamp. I did say that Labyrinth is one of my most hated modes is Labyrinth, and one of my most hated modes is also the normal raid. And it seems that they're pretty much gonna get rid of it. Basically, they're gonna make it into a regular labby. So I guess you don't have to hit it weekly, but rather they're gonna actually make this instead. We will add a new challenge mode in Hell difficulty. So the Hell raid difficulty is gonna get more challenging. So maybe it's just like the same amount of rewards that you would get, but only half the effort. Or like, you know, if this challenge mode is really hard, maybe it is too much effort. But either way, I guess it's more content, but at least anything to make me not have to feel like I need to do my regular raids. Because regular raids right now, like, you know, really you're getting like potentially Moonlight medal drops. Oh sorry, Moonlight what are they even called? Galaxy bookmarks, there you go. Galaxy bookmark drops, and then the boss tickets to get a greater artifact charm, or if you're a gambler, you get the chest. But outside of that, there's really nothing to do, and it just takes way too long. Even if you have a really high morale team, you're killing all 5 bosses in 3 runs, it still takes you the whole week, and like no one has time for that. I was originally saying that just allow us to teleport to the boss, beat him, and then let us warp out. But they didn't do that. So if people choose not to do this because it's like a regular labyrinth or whatever, will we get the rewards in the adjusted Hell mode? We'll have to find out. And the difficult bosses will drop more various items. So again, does that make up for it, or does that just mean that we have an additional difficulty in Hell Raid, which is technically new content, but then we still have to somehow do the old labyrinth in order to, you know, get the lucky Moonlight bookmarks and then the greater artifact charms. But they're adding an additional new labyrinth, Meldrick. So this will at least, I think this is like a one-time thing, you know, you beat it and it's done. But based on the difficulty scaling of the previous, what was it Nixseed that got finished? I think it's Nixseed. Like, it was relatively more difficult, but still not as difficult, or about the same difficulty as the regular raid. Now, since Meldrick is pretty new, and you know, in regular progression, this should be more difficult. Now I think that at this point, if Meldrick is introduced in year 4 of Epic 7, I think this has to at least be harder than regular raid, like what we call regular raid right now. And then hopefully the rewards will be great. Quality of life update UI improvement. So now, okay, so for those of you who know me really well, you know I'm a UI designer by trade. I talk about UI a lot, and personally, I don't think this is an upgrade. I want Smilegate, if Smilegate is somehow watching this and they know that I'm a UI designer, I mean, they should by now if they ever watch my videos, it's that I think this is a downgrade, alright? Now here's my explanation. While that, you know, they're staying in the same screen to get the detail views, if you look in your game right now and you do this, yes, it kind of changes the scene, but in my opinion, it's not that much better. It changes the scene where you don't see the equipment, and then you could just look at the relationship, look at their expression and voices. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why they have to feel like they need to keep the gear on the screen all the time. You know what I mean? Because at this point of the screen, you are not looking at the stats. It's clear. So in my opinion, the function is so different that, like, why would I want to see my EE slot? Why would I want to see my artifact? Why would I want to see the gear I have here? Right? Because like when someone is like, let's say, showing this on a stream or showing this in an image gear album, like their build album, like you'll never, like, there will always be this state, right? So the only thing that's benefited from this state now, if I could critique on it, would be that now you don't have to actually do that collapsible thing. So currently the skill icons actually takes majority of the, hold on, let me do a snippet tool here. So the skill icons do something like this, okay? And then you get the imprints down here. All right, it says imprint, and then you have like a collapsible thing. Once you open the collapsible thing, then you got the stats up here, and then what we do have is the sets. If you guys remember, the set icons. So now this is an issue for me because in the newer version, I do not see the set icon. Like I'm trying to look around the screen, I can't find that location. Now I personally think that those set icons did serve a purpose. I personally did. It was a quick way to see if that build was, you know, had a set completed and all that stuff, and then you'll be able to see the set. And also, one thing is that a lot of people who show their builds, they generally, like, as a quick way to do it, they just generally like do a screen cap like this. And so therefore you'd be like, okay, it's obviously it's Senya, and then you got the stats here, like the total stats, like, oh my goodness, cracked, like 450 gear score, and then you have the sets, right? So you don't rely on this side of the screen to actually see, oh, okay, you're on speed set and immunity set, right? Like you don't need that. Literally the icons actually serve the purpose. In my opinion, I actually like that more. So maybe I'm blind though. Maybe there is a section for that. I don't believe there is. So I feel like this design is like trying to compress something that, one, your muscle memory is already used to. I actually never had a UI UX complaint. So in terms of UI, in terms of like user interface and UX as a user experience, I never really had an issue with how that functioned. I felt that the collapsible drawers that Epic 7 has, and it's not everywhere in the game, by the way, is nice. It's nesting information I don't need, and it's opening up information I will need. It would take a while to adjust, in my opinion, in terms of the muscle memory. It won't be too bad, but like I said, I think those icons to show what sets are completed, in my opinion, it's good. And this is the one thing I also don't like, and I know that, you know, they always say that, oh, these are all work in progress, they're subject to change. I don't like this. I don't like this really like tangible button dial thing. It looks very cheesy in terms of a UI. I hope that they fix this. One, the spacing of the backing panel is not giving standard enough room to be like for one. So this might be like a quick Photoshop work. This might not even be in one of their builds, but I just have to point that out. I don't really like it. I felt that functionally it was totally fine before, but anyways, I know I'm spending more time on this. Again, it's where my passion lies and my expertise. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you like this newer design better? I personally think that it serves very little difference, especially on this state. Like, why do I need to see my gear at this state, right? I would, like, if I'm gonna read the hero story, great, I click on it and it's all popped up. It functions like that already. Give the gift, you're out, right? You're not staying on the screen for long. Now, if you're talking about like, oh, I just want to close up on the booba, then in my opinion, they should have a toggleable button on this state or on the original state that we have, and literally just be like, you know, like a magnifying glass, but not the one that takes us to the full screen where it's like sideways, you know what I mean? Not the portrait one, but like some kind of button that just toggles it zoom in, zoom out. And maybe that could just be a preference. Like once you had set that, all the heroes you're scrolling, so like Luluka, Bazaar, and all that, they will all be at the half crop. So we call that a cowboy shot. A half cropped image, right? So that could be cool, in my opinion. That could be a really good function, because I almost rather have that, but have it on this side of the UI, you know? Anyways, this is a food for thought if Smilegate is ever watching that. In terms of a UI designer, if it's not broken, don't fix it. That is always the case. And I always have to say that Epic 7's UI designers are very, very good. Very little issues, and they've improved every issue that I had in the past. So it means that their pulse is like very, very good. And so don't screw it up. Don't screw it up, in my opinion. This is also pretty cool as well, being able to actually set your like heroes that you want, like in terms of like I guess, hold on, wait, manage most used heroes. There you go. Adding them to your like favorites. I think that this could be a nice function. Like maybe like if this list becomes like a usable list in, let's say, like World Arena drafting, I think this would be great. And I believe this is it. Like you're basically like moving cards or shifting cards in order that it stacks in order on the right side of the screen. So like I believe this transfers into something like World Arena, which I would think that if this design was designed, it would be for that case. Because what I'm currently doing is copying one of the Korean streamers, KJ, copying his technique where he locks heroes that he uses in World Arena, and he unlocks heroes that he doesn't use ever in World Arena, or not built for World Arena. And then that way, when he's filtering through his heroes, waiting for an opponent to pick, he can just click you know, only show locked heroes, and then that way he has like a smaller pool to go through. So you know, sometimes you're panic picking, you know, and you need one, and if the list is shorter, you might be able to see one that you'll really want, or something that will be really helpful, instead of a bloated list of fodders and all that kind of stuff. These things modify and reforge. So like they had included these buttons for like the EE, where like you can go craft it right away and stuff like that. And I personally don't use it myself, and just because I don't use it doesn't mean it's bad. I personally think that I kind of like my decision making to be kind of segmented. So like, okay, if I want to reforge, I want to craft, I want to convert, I go to the sanctuary to do it. Now this is basically a hot link or a quick link to it, and in my opinion it's not bad. Like if I don't use it, I won't use it, because it's not really taking a button, not taking over a button where I used to press. So I don't believe this will conflict any muscle memory issues, and this would be really quick for any player to pick up. I do know that a lot of players actually use these quick links, so it's not the end of the world. It's definitely it is an improvement, but it's one that I thought that wasn't a necessity. You know what I mean? So I do feel that there are some things in this game that you would probably want to address before addressing something like this. If Smilegate ever wants a list of UI stuff that I believe would benefit from every player, definitely reach out. You know where to holla. New lobby types is really interesting as well. We got a preview of this wallpaper thing, but we also had like information here saying that there's also gonna be like new lobbies. Now, new lobbies would be better than, in my opinion, just a wallpaper. And I was mentioning this on the live stream yesterday night. I was basically saying that so many games do this kind of wallpaper thing, and I know it could be your flavor, your cup of tea. So I'm not like, you know, I'm not bashing you for liking like this. Like I think like Artery Gear had this, right? Counterside I think has this. A lot of games have this. This is nothing new. My issue is like, why would I want to set a wallpaper in a game that I'm playing instead of looking at like an interactable lobby, right? So like I personally feel that if there's like a wallpaper blocking like a kind of like a live environment, I feel it's actually cheaper Now again, to each their own. I think that they're really just honing in on customization. I mean, we recently got the music track player thingy, and that's a very nice touch. In my opinion, they could definitely polish that up in terms of like having more options in the thing, like you'll be able to adjust the volume in the music. It would be nice too. By the way, the music is actually very quiet, and stuff like that. I mean, I could make a list on how the music player could actually be improved as well. But stuff like this is pretty cool. I'm more interested in the other like pub lobbies. Okay, that's what I'm interested in, like different places. But the background thing, I'm not as big of a fan. It's a nice addition. I'm not a big of a fan. I just feel like if I'm gonna look at a wallpaper of this, like let's say I like this DN and Angelica, can't I just, you know, take a screenshot of that and put it on my actual phone? So like when I'm not in Epic 7, I can look at it, right? Like I just feel like it's like, if you want a wallpaper, just put it on your phone, right? Like why do you need to put it in the game on the phone that could potentially run this wallpaper too? Unless you're saying that, oh, well, I don't want my coworkers seeing that I have these, you know, lollies. Well, DN's not really a lolly, I guess, but I don't want them to know that I'm a lolly lover, or what do you guys call it? Lollicons? So like I just want to see it in game, but that's also creepy too. But either way, that's my thoughts on that. Check-in event, very nice. Now this is a highlightable moment. I mean, we got Mystic Metals, we got Transmit Stones, all that cool. This one though, 5-star Covenant Selector. Now I do believe that in this case that Irvelin will be available. Irvelin is my last remaining RGB 5-star that I do not own. So when I saw this, I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. Starts on September 1st, as it's written there. So very, very nice. Now, obviously, September 1st, I have to wait for September 15th to get it, but it's worth the wait. That's my last RGB that I need, and then my collection is complete. So I'm very looking forward to that. Very nice. And then that's it. The schedule, we got the roadmap. Let's see if there's anything else. And then yeah, I covered the epilogue video on a separate video. But anyways, that's been a pretty long RBTL. Those are my highlights and thoughts on it. I mean, little things here and there that are very, very nice. I'm more interested in seeing what the new year would be like, but at least we got something to chew on till the end of the year. Anyways, if you guys have any comments, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm gonna end this for the video recording. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.